So here is the rack right here. You got space for 15 bottles right there. You got place for your glasses right there. And you definitely have some really cool lights underneath there and down there too. Let's check those out in the dark real quick. You see that awesome red glow right now? You can change that and it is customizable. So I'm gonna show you how to assemble the wine rack, but first let's make sure that we have all the parts that we need to assemble it, starting with these 3 white panels back here. So we're going to label these A, F, and G respectively. A is this front one here. You can see that it has the majority of these holes right here as compared to the other ones. F is this one over here. It's the one that doesn't have this rim right here. And so that means this one is G, the one with the rim that has the fewer holes on this side. B1 and B2 look quite similar. They are these U-shaped bars right here. The major difference being that B1 has this cable coming out of here and the other end of it down here. C and D are 2 wooden panels like this. C has the hole cut out in the middle of it. E is a metal piece that looks like this. H is this horseshoe shaped piece and you get 4 of these. I is this metal bar right here. You get 2 of these. J is a larger metal bar without the tabs on the ends and you get 4 of these. K is this rack right here and you get 2 of these. L and M are these 2 smaller bars right here. L has this additional tab in the middle right here and you get 2 of the L's and 2 of the M's. This is N. It's a wooden panel. O is the power adapter. You can see 2 of these 3-pronged outlets and 2 USB outlets, and that will plug into a 3-pronged outlet itself. We should also get several bags of hardware and accessories. Step 1 of the assembly process needs us to go to bag 10 of the hardware and remove 4 of these feet. We should also go to bag 7 and grab 4 of these M6 12mm screws. Now let's grab both of our letter I's, and on each of them we're going to come down to these little tabs right here and find these holes in the end. And the screws that we have are going to go through them like this. And we should do that on both sides. And then we're going to take B1 and B2, and on the middle of the poles we'll find these 3 holes right here, and same thing on the other side, 3 holes right there. And those screws are going to go into these middle holes here. But first let's go to this side of B1 and B2, and we'll take those 4 feet that we have and we'll put them down into these pieces here and screw them in tightly. And we'll do that for all 4 feet on B1 and B2. And now that we know that this is the foot and that way we'll be facing downwards, we can come back to these 3 holes where we're going to attach our letter I beams right here, and we want the tabs on letter I right here to be underneath the bar themselves as we screw these together right there. And we can tighten those up by coming to bag 14 in the hardware kit and getting out this small hex key. And now we can use it to tighten up these screws on both B1 and B2. At the end of that step, your B1 and your B2 should be looking like this, with the I bars attached in the middle of them here. Making sure that those I bars right here are above the tabs that you use to screw them into the sides right here. And now we're going to connect these together. For that, let's go to hardware bag 9 and grab 8 of these M6 40mm screws. And for this step, we'll need all 4 of our letter J bars. Now on the top of B1 and B2, we have these brackets, and we're going to want to orient these brackets inwards towards each other so that we have B1 and B2 in this type of orientation as we attach them with our J bars. So we're going to take our J bar and we're going to come down to this end of it right here, and one of our bolts will go through there. But first we want to grab one of our B bars right here, and we'll come up to this I bar right here, and we'll make sure that we put this bolt through the back of it like that so that we can attach our J bar over here. And so we can attach it like this. And now I have this one loosely attached over here, you can see. And I'm going to bring in my other B bar and attach it down here. I'm first going to take this bolt, find this screw hole right here, and put that bolt through there. And then screw that into the other end of this J bar over here. Now that you can see how this is starting to come together, at the end, once we tighten these up, we'll also want these holes right here on the J bar to be up and down oriented. And now we'll install the second J bar. And now we'll come down to this lower level and we'll do the same thing again. We'll insert the bolts so they're pointing inwards and screw in the J bars. And we'll do that for both of the lower ones as well. And now we can tighten up all 8 of those bolts as well. I'm going to use my electric driver here with this attachment that matches that hex key. And this just makes it easier for me. And once we've got all of those tightened up, it should be looking a little bit like this. Now we're going to install panels C and D by going back to hardware bag 7 and grabbing 8 more of those screws. Let's first install C, and we'll install it on the side that has the cable running through it. And we're going to align these 2 holes right here with these 2 holes right here so that they come together like this. And then we're going to take 2 of our bolts and put them in here like this. And we'll come down here and do the same thing over here. And now we can tighten all 4 of those up. Let's make sure that when we're connecting C and D with B1 and B2, that we can see these holes facing upwards. Now let's take letter D and connect it over here the same way by screwing all 4 of these in place. And then we can tighten those up. Now our piece should be looking like this. For the next step, we go to hardware bag 4 and grab 12 of these M4 22mm bolts. Now we're going to connect our 4 letter H pieces, 2 of them to F and 2 of them to G. So now we're going to take our letter F board right here and we're going to come down to this side over here where we can see all these screw holes, and we're going to come down to these holes right here. This one, number 2, and number 3 right here. And we're going to take our screws and we're going to insert them through those holes like that. Another one right here, and the last one down here. And then we're going to take our letter H bar here and we're going to screw those holes into these holes right here. And now when we're doing this, we don't want to tighten them up right away. We want to give them some wiggle room at first. We should have a little bit of wiggle room on this right here, and now we can do the same thing to the other side of this board. And then once we have those both on there nicely, we can tighten those up and do the same thing on G. Once you have those screwed in on F and G, you should have 2 of them looking like this. Now let's go to hardware bag number 8 and grab 16 of these M6 28mm bolts. Now let's go back to our letter B frame over here and lie it down flat. And let's make sure that the side that has our cable here is lying on the ground. Now we're going to find our letter G panel and find where our cable is on that one, and we're going to align it with that one on the ground by sliding letter G into the frame like this. And we're going to find our corresponding holes here and here. There's another one down here as well, and we're going to put screws in those. And we're going to do that for all of G right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here. And let's tighten those all up. Now we can easily attach these 2 cables together. Now we're going to take F here and we're going to attach it right here the same way we attached G to this rack. And so let's slide that board in there, get it into place, and then screw it in place. Now we can go to hardware bag number 1, get 4 of these screws, and let's lay out our board letter A, and we're going to screw these parts here into this hole here, this hole here, and this hole here, and this hole here. And then we can tighten those up. Now let's go to the hardware bag, grab 4 of the wooden pegs. One will go here, another right here, another right here, and the last one right here. And now we're going to line up those screws and those wooden pegs we just inserted on A with these 4 holes right here on the top of our structure. And let's make sure we align this cable with the cable that's already on the structure. Back to hardware bag 7, grab 4 of those bolts. And now we're going to connect B1 and B2 with A, because there's these little metal tabs that come out from B1 and B2 right here, and they'll go up into A right here. We're going to put those screws up into there. There's one here, here, and on the opposite side as well, here and over here. Now that this is nice and sturdy, let's flip it over. Let's go back to our number 1 hardware bag and grab 4 of these locks here. And these are going to be interfacing with those screws that we put in letter A. And so the way we want to use these ones today is that the screws are going to be facing upwards because we have this flipped upside down, which means we want this opening facing down and this moon-shaped piece facing upwards as we insert them into the holes down here. One of them will go right here, and we can give that a turn to lock it up. It's usually a quarter turn to a full turn. Another one will go back here, another quarter to full turn, and now one will go back here, lock it in place, and the last one right here, and lock that in place. And now we're going to grab this piece right here, and 2 of these little clips that come with it, and the 2 cables on this piece can connect to both of these cables here. And then there's a 3M strip down here. You can peel this piece off here, and that reveals the sticky substance here. And now we can stick that to the underside of our table. Then you can peel the back off these clips as well, and we can use those to hold down our cables. Now go back to hardware bag 7 and grab 6 more of those screws, and we're going to attach this rack right here using these screw holes. And we're going to attach that to these holes right here by placing the rack like this and then starting those screws and tightening them up. And now that should be nice and sturdy on there. Now go to hardware bag number 5, and let's get those 2 small screws along with our power adapter here, and we're going to put our screws through here and through here. Let's flip our unit over, and we'll find this opening underneath the top panel. We'll take the power cord and weave it through that slot. Then with our USB adapters on the right, we'll push that all the way through and connect that into the slot like that, and that's where we'll tighten those screws. Now we'll go to hardware bag 3 and grab 8 of the M4 8mm bolts. Now let's get our 2 L's and our 2 M's, as well as our 2 letter K's, and we're going to put all of those together. Now for orientation, we have these little tabs on our K's, and they're only on one side of them, so you want to find them, and they're going to be on the inside and the bottom of the rack. And then we'll also find this hole right here, which is where we're going to align our L bars. We're going to put them in like this, so that this tab on the L is also pointing in the same direction that this one is, so they'll be together like this. I started that screw there, and you can see how they're starting to come together. Now let's get another one through here, attaching the other letter K. So the screw goes through here, and that'll screw into this one right here. Okay, and now you can kind of see how I sort of have one of them loosely aligned right here and screwed together. Now we're going to do that same thing in the other 3 corners. The L's are going to go on the bottom, and the M's are going to go on top. Okay, you can see I've got all 4 loosely assembled here, and the way you want to do this is eventually you want to have these top ones right here, they're going to want to be aligned upwards like this, so those will be all tightened up like that. And again, these bottom ones, those tabs should be facing inwards, and they should be aligned with the bottom of it like this. Now let's get all of those tightened up. And now I just tightened mine all the way up. It's nice and tight, you can see that. These brackets are nice and solid right there, nice and solid right here on this edge too. It should be looking just like that. Now go to hardware bag 6 and grab 8 of those ST 3.5 8mm screws. And we're going to flip this over so these brackets are upwards and we can access them. And then find these screw holes on board letter N right here and place them down onto those holes like that. And now we can flip that over and then screw those in. Now we go to hardware bag 11. We get out these 4 sticky feet here, and you'll see we can actually peel these apart into individual feet, and then we can peel the yellow backing off these. And then we want to stick them along this edge, one right here, another one right here, and another one right here. So you'll just take your sticky foot pad and then press it down onto it like that. And now we can take our rack and set it on this bottom shelf like this. And so at this stage, our wine rack should be looking like this. Really cool. And now we can plug it in and then make sure that we attach this USB cable right down here. And now you can see that there's a light on underneath it right there, and there's a way to control it right here. There's a power button and a way to cycle through all the colors and stuff right there. Right now it's flashing that yellow color. Let's see if we can get it to change. Okay, so that looks really cool. Let's check it out in the dark. Oh wow, look at all that light. Really cool. Look how it pulses like that. That's really cool. It shines on that bottom platform right there from that top ring. You can see you have an area down here to hang your glasses too right there. And you also have a light on the bottom shelf right down there too that makes the floor glow. So that is a really cool rack. And I'm just kind of checking out the remote control that comes with it too. You can switch between those flashing modes and also keeping it in a solid color as well. And you can change all the different colors. So check this out. See, I just have it kind of set in holding on the green color right now. I think that looks really cool. So you can do that. You can switch between the mode and the flashing mode. You can change the speed of the flashing mode. You can change the brightness of the lights as well. So you got some customization options here. Blue, we got green, light blue, there's a pinkish or purplish right there. There's that yellow color, there's that red color. Now at this point we can go to hardware bag 13 and get all these pieces out here so we can secure it to the wall. Now I'm actually not ready to secure mine to the wall, but I can show you how to do it using these pieces. First you need a power drill like this really simple one that I use by Black & Decker. And you want to attach a bit that matches the size of this drywall mount. So you can see these are the same diameter. You drill a hole in the wall where you want to place it. You lightly hammer this end into the wall so it goes in like this all the way down until just this piece is sticking out. And then your screw will be able to go into that and you drive that into the wall, and that's what's going to secure it. But before you do that, you're going to want to use one of these straps right here, and you can just wrap this around one of the legs of this rack right here, and then put these 2 loops together like that and make sure that that screw goes through these 2 holes right here like this, so it holds it to the wall, and then you screw it in place like that. So overall, this is a great rack, really cool, really sturdy, really easy to put together.